Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Holds Barred. My name is Brian. We just had a big return on Friday Night Smackdown. Let's get into it and let's react to the rest of the show. Let's go. Kicking off the show tonight, we got our yeet on. We had Jey Uso himself showing up to Friday Night Smackdown to call out the WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. Now, with Jey and Cody both in the ring, talking about whether or not Jey is going to challenge for Cody's WWE Championship at WrestleMania, they were interrupted by Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Basically, this set up for our main event in the evening. It's going to be a tag match. This segment was pretty standard. Lots of yeeting, lots of cheering, little teases here and there. My only critique is that I felt like out of all the promos that Jacob's been doing lately, this one was kind of a dud. Maybe I'm just a bigger fan of when he's walking to the ring backstage doing promos. But, hey, got to have some duds every now and then. Next, we had one half of the women's tag team champions, Bianca taking on Piper Niven. The match ended when Bianca hit a KOD on Piper, which was very impressive, as it always is, but we've seen it a few times now. But good SmackDown match, and Bianca is now qualified for the Elimination Chamber. Then we had the men's WWE tag team champions out, DIY, who were confronted by Pretty Deadly because of their little spats back and forth lately. Nick Aldis came out, made an impromptu match. DIY was not in their ring gear, so they were confused. Pretty Deadly ended up getting a win. I really don't care about any of these storylines with the tag teams, so I didn't really pay too much attention to this, to be honest. Next, we had a triple threat match that was a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. We had Drew McIntyre taking on Big Jim, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. Now, I will say before the match, every man cut a promo before the match. All were pretty solid. LA Knight's was pretty good. He even gave a little of a heartfelt speech to inspire young men to be able to express themselves, and basically it led into calling Drew a big crybaby. There was also a little nugget there dropped for all the backstage tips that have been going on with Drew McIntyre and apparently LA Knight, getting his stuff in at the Royal Rumble. But anyways, the triple threat match was pretty solid. Drew ended up winning after he did a cool a Claymore into the back of LA Knight as LA Knight was about to do the BFT to Jimmy. So it kind of took out both those guys. Drew picked up the pinfall, and he is going to the Elimination Chamber. Earlier in the night, we saw Carmelo talking to Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis basically said, hey, you're taking on Tozawa because of what you did at Royal Rumble this past weekend, so you and Tozawa will be having a match tonight. And that match went just about how you would expect. Carmelo picked up the pinfall. Tozawa did get some offense in and scare Carmelo a few times in the match, but Carmelo pretty much had this one guaranteed. Next, we were all told to bow down because here comes the queen, the Royal Rumble winner herself, Charlotte Flair. Now, she is on her little WWE tour of inspiration or finding inspiration amongst the women's champions, and this one took her to Friday Night Smackdown so she could confront Tiffany Stratton, the women's WWE champion. Both were in the ring cutting promos against each other. Charlotte basically told Tiffany that she's still a little child and she doesn't seem like much of a threat for Charlotte. And Tiffany basically said she's tired of being compared to Charlotte for all of her career so far. Then came out Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, and basically we were told that Nia Jax is going to get a title shot next week on SmackDown against Tiffany. Then all four of the women were interrupted by Alexa Bliss coming out to have her Elimination Chamber qualifying match against Candice LeRae. After hitting a Sister Abigail-esque DDT and picking up the pinfall, Alexa Bliss is now qualified for the Elimination Chamber. And I do need to mention that during this match, there were glitches on screen, very Wyatt Six-esque glitches, so we'll see what this is going to build up to, but I think everyone kind of saw this one coming. Now, I know earlier I said I don't really care too much about the tag team storylines that are going on SmackDown right now, but I do care about the Street Profits. I'm a big fan of them. I like to see what direction they're going into, and they gave us a really awesome vignette tonight that showed a more serious side of the Street Profits and definitely gave them more edge than they've had before. Now for our main event, it was a tag team match with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso taking on Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Pretty standard match. Nothing really here to highlight during the match, but Cody Rhodes picks up the win with a crossroads after Jey flies out of the ring and takes out Jacob. As Cody's hand is being raised, you see a black hoodie coming up from behind him. Yeah, if you see a black hoodie, you know someone's coming back, someone's returning, someone's sneak attacking, most likely with the bloodline, but it's always a black hoodie. It was none other than Solo Sikoa in that black hoodie. He's been gone now for 3 or 4 weeks, but he's returned tonight. Samoan spike to Cody, and he's standing over top of Cody as we end the show. I thought this SmackDown was pretty missable. It seems like SmackDown's back to being the B show. There really wasn't a whole lot of advancements and storylines too far in this show. It was nice having a return of Solo coming back, even though he's been gone for like 2 or 3 weeks. But that was a cool angle to end on, and that'll give us something to build towards. But I feel like the rest of the show was pretty lame. I don't know. It didn't do it for me. But hey, let me know what you thought about tonight's SmackDown. Tell me down in the comments if you enjoyed the show. Where do you see these storylines going? If you could, leave a like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.